Soccer's a gateway sport. You don't really need any skill other than walking. Any child would be able to score a goal. So I think it's just it's a fun way to introduce sports and that environment. For me personally, it's a part of my heart and soul. Like, it is why I exist.
Growing up, baseball was probably the one sport I spent the most time playing, but soccer was the one that I was the most naturally good at. So when I broke my leg playing baseball, sports kind of dried up for me. I kind of shifted to music and, photography and stuff like that until my senior year of high school when I started playing soccer again. Fast forward to today, and soccer is the #1 youth sport in America. More kids play soccer than football, baseball, and softball combined, and for good reason. Honestly, all you need to get started is a ball in the field, and you can just go around and kick around and have fun. But as the kids get older, it gets a lot more complicated. It's not just the high school teams like when I was a kid. Now we got club teams and travel teams. Although a lot of parents choose soccer over football and other sports because of low injury risk, it doesn't mean that there's not injury risks. Concussions and knee injuries are big issues too. Dorian and I love kicking the soccer ball around, but we still need to get a little bit more information to figure out if this is a good fit. So I talked to coaches, trainers, and doctors about the injury risks of soccer and the other pluses and minuses of what they call the beautiful game.
So there's going to be contact for sure, and different levels as you progress through. We'll have more contact and harder contact actually, and so that's something to prepare our kids for, to know that that's part of the game, is the contact aspect. And so teaching our kids how to contact correctly, how to prepare themselves for those contacts, and and how to take the contact. If you need to fall, that's important too. I mean, growing up, I mean, it was so. It's almost like there were no rules, right? In soccer, it's like you get taken out, by slide tackling or the headers or all these other things. Like it didn't matter. Like if you fell down, you had about 3 seconds to get back up and get it back into play. There's no, I'm not saying safety wasn't a concern back then, but I think it was more about the competitiveness in the sport back then to now, where the focus really is about safety more of our players, and it's a huge aspect that's changed our sport.
One of the main changes has to do with heading the ball, the primary cause of concussions in soccer. And the younger the player, the more vulnerable they are.
Somewhere between 10 and 12, anything younger than that, they shouldn't be trying to header the ball. And part of it is the skeletal maturity. Part of it too is the ability to understand where things are in space and time when the ball is coming your way.
So we still limit the amount of time that we do focus on heading. So I always want to introduce the skill when they're able to receive it, and then make sure that they get the proper training. But then we limit the amount of time that they actually do the training, especially on headers.
And just like in football, there's now strict concussion protocols for soccer. A player who exhibits any sign of concussion could be on the sideline for weeks. And there's actually a gender gap in concussions. Concussion rates are higher for girls than boys in every high school sport. A study found that girls that play high school soccer have almost the same risk for traumatic brain injuries than boys who play high school football. This leads coaches to teach those techniques very carefully.
So we teach them to make sure, especially for young women who seem to be a little bit more predisposed to concussions, we teach them to get firm in their upper body, to be locked and loaded so that they can receive a ball on their head without having their head whipped back or whatever else.
As you can see, soccer has a lot of running, so lower body injuries are quite common.
So when you are trying to run real quick and you shift, that can lead to injuries of the ACLs, which we see more commonly in female athletes, but definitely can happen in boys as well. The anatomy is a little bit different. We also think there might be a component of like hormones, and so we do tend to see, there's different levels of severity of injuries, right? So like season-ending injuries, for females, like one of the highest sports with season-ending injuries is gymnastics for females, right? Soccer, unfortunately, for season-ending injuries, is like right below gymnastics, and that probably is related to like knee injuries where they get an ACL tear, and you're probably going to be out for the whole season.
Also, how does the conditions of the field affect injuries?
Honestly, the major injuries that I come across as a coach are related to turf fields. We've averaged an ACL tear every year since I've been here, and that's just due to the forgiveness of the field. It's just not there anymore. So when you plant your foot in a turf field and try to change direction, go the other way, if your foot doesn't come with you, that ligament's gonna pop.
However, while the injury of risk is real, there is a real reason why soccer can be a great sport for kids. Great for both their bodies and their minds.
Soccer's hard, man. To get your brain to think about what your foot is doing, is very difficult. And then to touch it, with your foot. And what's cool about soccer, in my opinion, is that every time you receive the ball, the situation's different. So there's no plays like football or basketball. You get the ball, and where this defender was different from the last time, and where your teammate is different from the last time. So you're always having to think.
Then there are benefits going beyond the field of play.
So I think when you come to a sport, to play that sport, it's much more than just the sport. It's learning life lessons. It's doing all those types of things. And soccer's a great sport to do that.
Wow, this hasn't changed at all, man.
Soccer will always hold a special place in my youth sports journey. It was my gateway back into organized sports after a pretty catastrophic injury. Dorian already loves to play the beautiful game, and I have no idea how far it's gonna go with him. But I do know it'll be there for him if he wants it.